ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن سيدنا ونبينا ومولانا محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لمسجد أسس على التقوى من أول يوم أحق أن تقوم فيه رجال يحبون أن يتطهروا والله يحب المطهرين وقال أيضا رجال لا تلهيهم تجارة ولا بيع عن ذكر الله وإقام الصلاة وإيتاء الزكاة يخافون يوما تتقلب فيه القلوب والأبصار ليجزيهم الله أحسن ما عملوا ويزيدهم من فضله والله يرزق من يشاء بغير حساب صدق الله العظيم وصدق رسوله النبي الكريم ونحن على ذلك لمن الشاهدين والشاكرين والحمد لله رب العالمين يا رب صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم. Brothers, today I want to discuss two things with you. One is, now we have come into the month of Safar. Safar, amongst the Arabs, pre-Islamic days, Safar was regarded as a bad luck month. Understand, bad luck? Meaning that the Arabs believed in a lot of superstition. What today we call also in our terms muti, jadoo, sihr, black magic. Amongst the Arabs this was also common amongst them. So the month of Safar, which has just started now a few days ago, this was regarded as a bad luck month for them because they believed in superstition. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam came with a pure deen of Islam. And amongst the things that Islam brought to our notice is, there is no such thing as bad luck in Islam. If a mirror breaks, 7 years bad luck. If a black cat walks in front of you, you're going to have bad luck. There is no such thing in Islam. Yes, jadoo, black magic, sihr, this is a reality. Now we know in Africa, in South Africa and other African countries, Malawi, black magic is very common. Hasad, jealousy. The brother's driving a nice car, next thing somebody does some black magic on him. Somebody gets married, is happy, somebody's hasad, jealousy because of that, does some black magic on the person. Now yes, black magic is a reality, no doubt. It is something real. People work with jinnats, they work with shayateen. In fact, those that do this black magic, it is filth, it is impure, it is filled with impurities. Those that do this black magic, it is mentioned in some of the books, some of the kitabs, that for 3 days they have to eat their own feces and drink their own urine, so that they become an embodiment of filth. Now they can attract the filth from the shayateen, from the shaitan, and try to do all that. So Allah speaks about this in Quran. وَاتَّبَعُوا مَا تَتْلُو الشَّيَاطِينُ عَلَى مُلْكِ سُلَيْمَانَ. Sulaiman alayhi salam was given control over everything, all the makhluk, the wind, the jinnat, the birds, the animals. He could even hear and understand the speech of animals. So Allah Ta'ala sent to him 2 angels, Harut and Marut. They were sent as a test. It's a very long story, I'm making it short. They were sent as a test at that time to show the people what is black magic, sihr. But what happened is that some people of that time, they tried to abuse the knowledge of black magic. So today one of the reasons the Jews, it is mentioned, Allah knows best, one of the reasons that the Jews today are digging under Masjid al-Aqsa is that they are trying to find what they call the Temple of Solomon. They want to get those books of black magic so they can carry out that black magic in the world. In fact, I have heard from ulama that the most powerful black magic at the moment is with the Jews. And maybe a great portion of what happens in the world is related to black magic also. If you just think for a moment, I'm not saying it's black magic, but if you think for a moment, how does Google operate? If you type in any word, within the click of a button, you'll get information immediately. Have you ever thought about it? How does Google, anything you want to do, if you want to know my name also, or Imam Mustafa's name, anything you click in, Tuduza, Masjid, immediately you'll get some information. How is this whole system running? It is the opinion of some ulama that this whole system is running through the system of the shayateen and black magic. That they have some input in this. Allah knows best. Nevertheless, Allah sent these two angels to test the people. Some of the people tried to learn this black magic, to abuse it. So Allah speaks about it in Quran. فَيَتَعَلَّمُونَ بِهِ مَا يُفَرِّقُونَ بِهِ بَيْنَ الْمَرْءِ وَزَوْجِهِ. That they now try to learn this black magic to separate and cause a husband and wife to divorce also. And then to cause turmoil in the home. Sometimes a person gets sick, his legs start paining, back starts paining. He goes to a doctor, test after test, hospital after hospital. There is no tangible, there is no outward solution. What is the problem? Nobody can find. Not cancer, neither is it anything else related. It's just that he can't wake up in the morning, he can't walk. You understand? So perhaps it is some type of black magic has been done to him. So yes, it is a reality, no doubt. Even to such an extent that black magic and sihr was done on Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. A Jew by the name of Lambat bin Asim, he caught hold, one narration states the comb, one narration states a strand of hair, and he tied 11 knots, and he blew on those knots, and he did some black magic on Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Then for 6 months Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was affected. How? Not that Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam lost his mind and became like a madman, na'udhu billah. Only certain times Nabi alayhi salam would forget certain things. He would misplace certain things. Sometimes he forgot where he put his miswak. Sometimes he forgot where he put his leather socks. Certain things like this used to happen. After 6 months, Allah revealed the last 2 surahs of Quran. Surah Falaq, Surah Nas, 11 ayat. When every ayat was revealed, one knot of this black magic was opened. And after the revelation of the 11th verse, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was cured completely from black magic. Now brothers, it is a reality, it is there in our African communities, especially in Africa. Black magic is very rife, sangomas, etc. But I'll just tell you one thing. Look, we know, and many of you come from this background, it is normal, and us also amongst in our Indian community also. Anything that happens, unnatural, people will say, we call it jadoo, jadoo in the Urdu language. He says jadoo, black magic. The child is sick, jadoo. There's something, it falls in the house, they say black magic. So I remember many years ago when I just started working in our local location, Ratanda. You know where is Ratanda? There was our family, alhamdulillah, the family's complete family became Muslim. The old man passed away in the days of Hajj also. He was a very good man. He was a shoemaker, what you call a shoe repair man. He was a very good man, elderly man. So one day we used to go to the ladies and teach them. We used to have classes there. So they told us that, the young boy is having some problem in his stomach. He's restless at night. So they took him to a sangoma. And he gave some herbs. And he paid 500 rand. Then he still wasn't coming right. Then he took him to another sangoma and they gave some herbs and still he wasn't coming right. Eventually when we got there after some time, then we seen the child, because our children play the whole day in the sand. And when children play in sand, what do? They eat the sand also. And one of the results of eating sand is that you get worms in the stomach. So I went to the chemist myself. At that time the worm syrup was about 28 rands. I'll never forget. One small bottle. I said, give the young boy this bottle of worm syrup. It's one dose. You give him the entire bottle one time. Small bottle. Allah's fazal, he drank the worm syrup, he was completely cured. Whereas otherwise we're thinking maybe someone did some black magic or something wrong with him. Whereas there was nothing wrong with the boy. Only thing, he needed a bottle of worm syrup. So black magic is a reality, it is there. Hasad, jealousy in our communities today is very rife. The moment somebody progresses a little bit, people become jealous, driving a nice car, he gets married, he makes his house a little bit nice, he's wearing nice clothing. And hasad is a condition of the heart, that if you don't make an effort to cure it, then it will overtake your life. So that is there, people are jealous today of one another, it is a reality common in our communities. But I want to tell you one thing, brothers, remember this. Allah speaks about this black magic in Quran, but Allah uses one very important phrase, illa bi-idhnillah. That black magic will only be able to affect you with the permission of Allah. They can go to the greatest magician, the strongest sangoma, and use the strongest muti on you. It will have no impact on you if Allah doesn't want it to work. Illa, and obviously sometimes Allah gives permission for it to work for a test upon you. But remember this, black magic and jadoo and sihr cannot affect you illa bi-idhnillah, except with the permission of Allah. So in our deen, brothers, there is no such thing as bad luck, there is no such thing as what you call it, a misfortune, etc., bad luck. Yes, good luck, sometimes good omen, sometimes you had a good dream. Inshallah, it could have a good meaning. But something is bad luck in our deen, there is no such thing. Whatever happens has been preordained, has been predestined for you by the command and the will of Allah. And black magic, jadoo, sihr, no sangoma can have any effect on you illa bi-iznillah, with the permission of Allah. So I'll give you one thing, read in the morning, Surah Ikhlas, Qul Wallahu Ahad, Surah Falaq, Qul A'udhu Rabbil Falaq, Qul A'udhu Rabbil Nas. Once, then hold your hands like this, make this action in your hands, and rub it over your entire body. Repeat it for a second time and for a third time, 3 times. Inshallah, you do this 3 times in the morning and 3 times in the evening. Not me, but Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is giving you guarantee that nothing, no harm will come to you, not even black magic can affect you in the least. Allah give us tawfiq. That is the first thing. The second thing I want to discuss, brothers, is when Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam came to Madinatul Munawwara, it was such a joyous day. There was so much of happiness. The young girls, the ladies climbed the roofs of the houses and they started singing that famous song, Tala al-Badru alayna. We hear it in our Nizams. There was so much of happiness. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was riding his camel. His camel's name was Qaswa. So everybody was trying to hold the rein of the camel because they wanted Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam to be their guest. Come to my house, come to my house, come to my house. And obviously, when you have a special visitor coming to your town, then you want him to be your guest. So Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam told him, leave the camel. This camel of mine is directly under the command of Allah. It will stop where Allah wants it to stop. Eventually the camel stopped at a place, an open field. Near that open field was the house of one Sahabi by the name of Abu Ayyub Ansari radiyallahu anhu. He said, Nabi Alayhi Salam said, he will be my host, I will stay with him. But when the camel stopped at this open field, Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam asked, who does this land belong to? They said this land belongs to 2 orphans from the Banu Najjar tribe. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam offered to buy the land from them. They said, no, we don't want the land. We don't want any money. Take the land. Nabi Alayhi Salam said, no. He took some money from Abu Bakr, who was his companion radiyallahu anhu, on the journey, and he bought the land with his own money. It was on that land that Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam designated it as a masjid. Masjidun Nabawi. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam himself paid for that land with his own personal money. The very first thing when he came into Medina was build a masjid. The land was identified, pegged out. Eventually arrangements were made to build a masjid. Sahaba with Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam physically were involved in the building of the masjid. It was a simple structure, mud walls. The roof was the date palms, the pillars was the trunks of the date tree, and the carpet was the sand of Medina. Like this, Masjid al-Nabawi remained simple. It was only 9 years later, a Sahabi by the name of Tamim Dari radiyallahu anhu, he brought the first physical light in the masjid. There was no light. For 9 years, no lantern, no candle, no paraffin lamp. After 9 years, the first physical light was brought by Tamim Dari. Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was so happy, he said, oh Tamim, if I had another daughter, I would have made your marriage with her. He was so happy. So nevertheless, brothers, the very first thing established was the masjid. Reason being, the masjid is the focal point of every community. The most important thing for us as Muslims is our masjid. It was from the masjid that everything happened in the time of Nabi alayhi salam. To such an extent, even military matters were discussed and carried out from the masjid. To such an extent that the masjid even served temporarily as a prison, as a jail. If somebody was caught, he was tied to one of the pillars of the masjid as a prisoner in Masjid al-Nabawi. Orphans, widows' needs were seen from the masjid. Every type of material benefit, physical benefit was seen from the masjid. But more than that, brothers, which is the real focus of any masjid, is the spiritual needs, the ruhani needs, which we as Muslims need all the time, was fulfilled from the masjid. If you walk in Masjid al-Nabawi, somebody was reading Quran, somebody was making dhikr, some madrasa classes were taking place, people were teaching, some were being taught, some were students, some were teachers. Some people were taking rest in the back of the masjid during the day, while at night they were engaged in ibadat during the night. The masjid was busy, buzzing. Everybody came to the masjid on many occasions to fulfill his worldly needs. Sometimes Nabi alayhi salam distributed some kajur, some money was distributed from Masjid al-Nabawi. But more than that, and the greater and more important objective of the masjid was that people came to Masjid al-Nabawi and they received spiritual nourishment. So brothers, we need to make this our masjid in this community also the focal point of our lives. We start our day here, we end our day here. That is why Allah has made it such that start your morning with Fajr Salat and end your day with Isha Salat, in between the other three Salats. But start your day from the masjid, end your day with the masjid. The mu'min's life should be revolving around the masjid. For a Muslim to be in the masjid is like a fish in the sea. And being out of the masjid is like a fish out of water, restless. When can I get back to the masjid? Connecting yourself to the masjid is like a child in the womb of the mother, completely protected under 3 layers of darkness, in the comfortable womb of the mother. And Allah connects that child through the umbilical cord, which is our navel. And the child receives nourishment, food from the mother through that cord. Our ulama explains that for a mu'min, the cord of our life in this world, our spiritual life, is the masjid. If we cut ourselves from that cord, from that masjid, then spiritually, slowly we'll start to die. Slowly your iman will get weaker. Slowly you will start, when the attacking forces against our iman attack us, we will become an easier prey for them. It will be easier for them to lure us and to take us away from Sirat al-Mustaqim, the straight path. So the fort for a mu'min, the center of protection, and the place where we will receive spiritual nourishment is the masjid. That is why, brothers, in fact they say, the ulama have said, and they trace this back, and it's something that you can also research and find out, that the center point of this earth is the Kaaba, Baytullah. If you take a map and you work out exactly half of the world, you will find the center point is Kaaba, Baytullah. In fact, they say the very first thing was the Baytullah, the foundation points were put of the house of Allah. The very first thing that Allah placed. And from there the earth and the land was spread out. So from there we understand the most important thing in the life of a mu'min is the masjid, brothers. Now a masjid, from what I told you, there's no time obviously, time is short, but from what I told you, Masjid al-Nabawi was a simple structure. For 9 years, no physical light. Perhaps for many years, no carpet or no mat was placed. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam would make salat. When it would rain, Sahaba say, we would see the sand stuck on his forehead. There was no embellishment in terms of adorning the masjid. It was a simple structure. So a masjid is not a building, not the fans, not the chandeliers, not the lights, not the tiles. These are all needs. The masjid is what happens inside. The salat, the dhikr, the tilawat, the teaching, the learning, and that spiritual nourishment that we get from this place. That is the meaning of a masjid. That is why it is the law of our deen that from this point right up until the skies, everything will be regarded as masjid. That is why it will not be permissible to build a toilet on top of this structure. From the bottom right till the last sky, every part of the earth and the skies will be regarded as a masjid. That everything is connected to this masjid, to the house of Allah. And like that in every single house. An interesting point is that Allah has made it such and so beautiful that Alhamdulillah, actually for a mu'min, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, جُعِلَتِ الْأَرْضُ كُلَّهَا مَسَاجِدٌ. The whole earth has been made a masjid for you. Meaning you can perform salat anywhere, any place, under a tree, outside of your own mats, we can perform salat. At any point, any place you can perform your salat. But obviously those places that have been designated as masjids, as places of salat, hold a greater superiority over the rest of the earth. In fact, it is a mafhum of a hadith that place, like this particular place where salat takes place, boasts over the rest of the earth, boasts over the rest of the pieces of land in Duduza, that this place has been designated as a masjid, as a house of Allah, as a place of salat. It holds a great and a special virtue in the sight of Allah. So the point is, brothers, connect yourself to the masjid. Come and receive your spiritual nourishment from here. Not only Jummah Salat. We cannot only become Jummah Muslims or Ramadan Muslims, but a Muslim is every day we are Muslims. And the greater our link and our connection is with the masjid, the stronger our iman will be. It is mentioned in the hadith, the teachings of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, as we get closer to the last days. And I don't think anyone now has any doubt that we are getting closer to the last days. You yourself know what's happening in the whole world. Every day some great new event taking place in the world. Definitely we are coming closer and closer towards the days of Qiyamah. In the mafhum of a hadith, that which will serve as a great source. Remember, we speak about it, the force of Dajjal, the fitna of Dajjal. Every Nabi came, warned his people about Dajjal. But if you analyze hadith, brothers, it is such an intense test that will be placed on us, and many will fail that test. Many are going to fail this test. Allah save us. A very intense test. Dajjal will come with such powers, and Allah will grant him the ability to produce such supernatural actions that many will fall for his tests and become part of his followers. That which will serve as a source of protection from us, brothers, is to be linked to the house of Allah. So Allah give us tawfiq, inshallah. Allah has blessed us with this place, the masjid, the center. Let us connect ourselves, inshallah. Become Muslims of 5 times that are connected to the masjid. And through that we are receiving spiritual nourishment, and at the same time our iman, our deen will be protected. One of the great hikmats and wisdoms the ulama have written of coming to the masjid 5 times a day is that we get a chance to interact with each other and benefit each other spiritually. It's one of the, and a community is strengthened when we come to the masjid. No sooner we cut ourselves from the masjid, then that starts weakening our community. Our community will not be strengthened by any other idea, but the greatest key and source of strengthening us in this community, brothers, is our link and our connection with the masjid. Allah Ta'ala give us tawfiq and understanding whatever is mentioned.